just getting back from the range, and the one thing I realized that a lot of people are not doing, clear, is recording themselves more when they're shooting. And I know that it seems like a fairly obvious thing to do, or maybe people think that is an obvious thing that most people do these days because cameras are so prevalent. But you'd be surprised. I go to the range a lot. Not a lot of people record themselves. Now, me personally, I'm used to recording, rewatching, recording, rewatching. As a kid playing high school football, college football, we watched a ton of film. Helped a ton of benefits there. Don't even need to go into listen to benefits there. Into more of something like working out. Last year I spent a lot of time recording myself for certain exercises because my form was just not where it needed to be, and I wanted to see exactly what I was doing. Because as human beings, when we're moving around doing stuff, a lot of times we don't realize what our body is doing while we're doing it. And I think that's super important to do when you're doing something like shooting, because if you want to improve in shooting, you're gonna have to want to know what's going on with your body, what your hands are doing, what your body is doing. And there's a couple things that people usually don't pay attention to that maybe they should when they're out shooting. One thing I will say is number one would be breathing. I used to do this thing when I first started shooting where I would hold my breath in doing certain things, and at the time it seemed like it was a good idea, but honestly it was not a good idea because it would mess everything up. It would tense me up, which we'll talk about in a second. And it's just not the best idea to do when you're shooting. So if you're holding your breath when you're recording yourself and you're playing it back, you'll realize that it'll tense you up. For example, when I used to do that and I recorded myself, I realized that I would roll my shoulders, I'd be more tense, and that really affects your shooting. It really does. If you play it back, you'll see that it messes your stance up, it messes your cadence up, being all tensed up. So breathing is huge. You want to make sure that you're breathing, and when you're playing back your footage and you're looking at yourself shoot, you just kind of want to remind yourself that you're looking to be comfortable, you're looking to be breathing, getting oxygen to your brain. That way you're more calm, you're more you're ready for the occasion when it comes down to pulling the trigger when you're training, or even if it's not a training situation. Just don't forget to breathe. Another thing that I usually pay attention to when I'm recording myself and all that is my shoulders. A lot of people, and it's not just your shoulders, it's a combination of your shoulders and your posture. A lot of people have bad posture. It's a thing in our society. I mean, it's pretty prevalent. And the spring doesn't pop out here. And this is a DPM spring, by the way. It's gonna be a bitch putting it back in, but whatever. Gotta usually with this comp, when I'm doing a quick cleaning like this, I don't retorque it and take it off and all that. I just kind of like clean around it, because again, I cleaned it not too long ago, but I just like cleaning it as soon as I get home from shooting, just so it's clean. So but yeah, anyways, making sure that your posture is there. A lot of people slouch when they're doing most things. You don't want to be slouching. You want to make sure that your feet are where they're supposed to be, spread apart how they're supposed to be. You want to make sure that your body is prepared to take that force when it comes to shooting. You want to make sure that you're doing all those things. Now, a lot of people won't realize that they're doing these things unless you're recording yourself. So again, it's a good idea to make sure that you are recording yourself, to make sure that you're paying attention to what your body's doing, because oftentimes most people don't realize they're doing these things. And sometimes we develop bad habits and we don't even realize that we're doing these bad habits until you play it back. I used to have these bad habits when it came to my thumbs. Now I did post this short recently and my thumbs were like flying in the air and we were joking about that. But what I realized is that, oh shit, hold on, let me go the other way. Is that if you're not paying attention to what your thumbs are doing, your hands are doing, your feet are doing. You're just going to do whatever. And you're just going to train, and you're going to train your mind to do all these bad habits. You're not going to even realize that you're doing them. There's so many things that I used to do with like my shoulders, my hands, my feet, that I didn't even realize I was doing them until I played it back and I was recording myself. So now we live in a time where people will think that you're some content creator, some influencer because you're recording yourself. Don't feel bad. Don't be ashamed. It's kind of like the gym. As long as you're not bothering anybody at the range, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, I think that you should be fine. And I don't think nobody's gonna give you any problems with that. So it doesn't even have to be some fancy camera. Just use your phone. I use my phone all the time. And just play back, watch yourself, pay attention to what you're doing. And if you notice something weird that you're doing with your shooting, write it down. Write it down so that next time you go to the range, you can pay attention to that and you can make sure that you don't do it again. And I lied about putting the string back. I mean, I guess I've done this so much that it was kind of easy. But if it's your first time putting these DPM springs back, sometimes it can be a bitch, especially if the spring's brand new. But we've held rounds through this, so it's pretty loosened up. Anyways, just make sure that you're recording yourself and paying attention to little cues, little details, and make changes. Go back to the range, make changes of things you've noticed yourself doing so that you don't do those things again. If you are not aware of things that you're doing while you're doing them, you will never correct them. It's just the way it works. So when you go to the range, just like if you were going to the gym or something like that, be purposeful and do things, what's that word again? Be intentional. So be intentional, record yourself, work on things and pay attention, rewatch yourself, take notes. And when you go back, that's the only way you're going to break out of those bad habits. So yeah, just wanted to do a quick little video about recording yourself. Make sure that you're recording yourself. Otherwise, unless you have a buddy there that's going to stare at you shooting and give you pointers and all that, you're going to be the only person that cares enough to pay attention to the things that you're doing to correct them. So make sure that you are indeed recording yourself so that you can catch these cues and become a better shooter. So hope that helped. Nothing too crazy today. Just kind of wanted to talk to y'all. It's been a while, been kind of busy with life. So just wanted to share something that has helped me. Usually the things that help me the most when it comes to this shooting thing are free. Like putting up tape everywhere and dry firing, free, helped a ton. Recording myself, free, helped immensely. So like most of the things that are going to push you to that next level when it comes to shooting are going to be free. So I know people want to get the latest, and let me take a second. God damn, this thing is a thing of beauty. But everybody wants to get the latest gear, the latest optics. They think that is going to make them a better shooter. It may help you, and it does. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't help. Obviously it does. But the things that are going to actually propel you to be that much of a better shooter are going to be free. They're going to be repetitive, and they're going to be the things that are not so fun or flashy, or things that are, the things that people like to show off on social media. So next time you go to the range, just record yourself. You'd be surprised what you would catch yourself doing that you don't even realize that you're doing. So bring your camera, start recording, and then start improving. Hope that helped. See you guys on the next one. Deuces.